we just finished upgrading this caravan so it can go off grid. Had a bit of a power system in it, but it just wasn't really cutting it. So we ripped that out and thrown some new gear in. So let's jump into it and check it out. So this is the electrical system that was originally in the van. I had a couple 120 amp lithium batteries, 2600 watt inverter, but yeah, it just wasn't kind of really cutting it. It had a small AC charger, but yeah, the customer was just saying that yeah, they weren't really too happy with the performance. So I just gone ahead and removed all that stuff out, put two 200 Amptron batteries in, and then a full Victron system. So just give it a bit more of an upgrade, and we just made a new electrical board. That's why we removed this. Just cleaned it up a little bit. So yeah, we'll jump inside and then check out the new power system. Yeah, so just down under the seats here is where we've chucked all the electrical gear. So originally had the inverter just on the back wall over here, and then they had a wooden little box here that was housing all the electrical gear. So we just removed all that just because obviously when we were then trying to mount all that stuff, being old wood, it was just splitting apart. So we just made a new one out of aluminium. And then chucked all our gear on top. So yeah, we've got the 4-way Mega, a little 4-way MIDI as well. Got your Victron 500 amp SmartShunt, just a little fuse box just for their few 12 volt accessories. Cerbo GX, the Orion 50 amp DC-DC, and it's got 150 MPPT. And then we have left these two spaces available along with some wiring just to upgrade their solar in the future. They've got not the greatest panels fitted, and they've got like 4 200s, but they're not the same thing. They're not really performing the best. So we've gone ahead and while we're here, chucked all the cabling in so it's ready to go. So when they do want to upgrade it in the future, they're good to go. Just bolt the two new MPPTs in, chuck all the wiring into the terminals, and then you're good to go. And then just behind that is the 3 kVA Victron MultiPlus. So just up in here is just where we've chucked all the monitoring side of things. So originally had the iTech World little monitor just where the Touch 50 is, and then it had a little switch here to be able to turn the inverter on and off. So now that's all done through the Touch 50. We'll go ahead and just put a little blanking plate there so there's just not a hole, and then mounted our Touch 50 over where the old hole was for that. So that's where you'll monitor everything. You can see all your grid power coming in and out, your solar, your DC-DC, what your battery's doing, and then you can see your AC loads and your DC loads there. It's also how you can turn the inverter on and off. And then they just made a little upgrade now with the actual software. So you can notice that the ones with the blue squares and ones that don't have blue squares, the ones with blue squares are clickable, so you can click on them and get a bit more information. So the inverter, for example, you just click that box and now you've got the mode there, and then you can just turn it from off to on, and then you just set it, and then it'll turn that inverter on now. And then that's be the same for like your solar and your DC-DC. You just click the little box, and then you can get a quick little bit of information about what it's actually doing. So that's a nice little upgrade that they've made recently, and just allows you to be able to get a bit more information instead of having to scroll through all these different tabs to get all the info. Also down that electrical box is where we've just chucked the little temperature sensor, so they can now see what the temperature is of their electrical compartment, so they can see if that multi's starting to get a bit too hot, and then they can just manage that. So they haven't opted to put any of their water into the Cerbo. They're just going to keep running with the factory one that they already had. So yeah, they were happy with how that one works. So they just left it there. But if they wanted to in the future, they could definitely put it into the Cerbo and then have all their monitoring of all their water in the same screen. We swapped this out as well. So originally had just one of the circuit breakers for their solar, but as part of doing the future proofing, we'll just chuck 2 spare ones in there, so when they do want to upgrade and add their extra solar in, they've already got all their breakers there, and there's just a nice little easy way that they can just isolate all their solar instead of having to try to remove fuses. They can just hit that circuit breaker there. And then up here we'll just swap this out. So that was for your hot water system. So the 12 volt electrical side wasn't working on it. So what they found was every time they turned the inverter on, that 240 would kick in, the hot water unit would come on, and they wouldn't be able to switch it on and off. So we just put a new power point down the back that the hot water system plugs into, and now it's just switched via this switch just here, so they can just turn it on and off. So it's not always going to be on when the inverter's on. and then we just kept the gas one as is. Just had to swap it to that new style switch. Then we've also got new circuit breakers in here, RCDs for the MultiPlus. Same as always, you got the one for the incoming, so shore power will come in, go to the RCD, come out of it, go to the multi, then power comes back to the other RCD, and then it'll go from there to all your GPOs. So we just swapped them out, so now you got 2 new RCDs there. Yeah, so that's everything on this one. Now it's got those upgrades. They're definitely going to be able to go off grid and be able to use a lot more power. And then when they upgrade that solar in the future, they'll be able to stay off grid for long periods of time. So if you're after something similar, you'd like some more information, you just head to our website and get in contact with us there, and we'll catch you on the next one.